Hello everyone, and as promised yesterday, we are back for a bit more WARNO action as we have a bit more of Division 4 coming your way today, guys, from our new and our a bit more casual players. Starting here with an interesting matchup. On the left side, we have Eugen's own SupeXavi coming around last season closely, not quite getting it into the playoffs. Let's see how it will go this season. And on the right side, we have ErwinvWolfenstein. And the matchup here, pretty interesting. Big and ban phase. Got us Mount River and Omen. So quite opposite maps, both relatively slow, but one is really open fighting, and the other one is a lot of around the edge fighting. And then vice. Interesting choices here as well. Some classic ones like Mnet and one of first and second that we see quite a bit lately. But also a direct anti-Xavi ban here with Territorial Kommando Süd. And then a fourth Matcherino ban on the other side that is a bit curious as well. As we have Brunette and 6 US for Xavi. And on the other side, we have 6 Léger Blindé, a light French division being used against the French dev here. And then 31st Tankovi for the Omen matchup. So this is quite ballsy here. 6 Léger coming in as a first pick as well, division-wise, against the pretty solid Brunette with the really, really good Spanish AMXs and a good amount of infantry, a good amount of these lugs. They don't come in the luck BTR, but yeah, luck 40s here coming around, Milan coming around, and we have a good couple of VEC 90s and 25s as well, so both sides with good recon vehicles. So I'm not quite sure how much you want to contest the AMX-10 opener with your own recon vehicles here. AMX-10 RC Legion coming around on the side of Erwin. A good amount of helicopters here behind that. Gazelle cannons, Gazelle Celtics. Trying to exploit the lack of manpads on the other side, though the cannons that you can get, the AA cannons, usually quite decent as well. We only get a Pegaso here with a guy BO1 on the rear. 2 of them here coming around, but only 2 of them might not be enough to deal with this helicopter opener, so this should be quite interesting. Tiradores as the port deployment. We have a F-18 coming around, aka the C-15 in Spanish service. But with the amount of Celtics on the other side, you don't want to dive into those helicopters there. So I don't believe that F-18, the C-15 here, is a great investment here. We have some crap light infantry going ahead of all of this here right now on the south. Special forces. I'm a bit worried for SupeXavi's opener here. It's not really good at dealing with the light armor, and it's not really that good at dealing with the helicopters. Yeah, there we go. The F-18 goes in, immediately gets fired upon by the Celtics, and yes, they get the kill. And that was to be expected. Shooting down only one Celtic, that's not a great trade. You can't go after this like that. We see the Pegaso now getting a kill against one Gazelle Cannon, the other one trying to fall back. The other 2 here in the north, ooh, getting found out as well. Nearly goes down over here. The VEC might finish it off after all. Yes, they do. Only one Gazelle Cannon here surviving. That was pretty okay for Xavi. We have the crab trying to push forward here. The VECs. One of them going down to the MXs. MX-30 down here. Going around as this Gazelle Cannon just goes into the rear here. Both sides. Not quite pushing into the X-ray point. Slightly better positioning there currently for Erwin, but we have a Milan 1 here that maybe could get involved. Oh, MX-10 finds a good hit against the MX-30. MX-30 could smoke off. doesn't get the kill there, but that also does enough stress damage that it doesn't get hit in return. Can it find the kill? Yes, it can. Ooh, the South here actually is turning around nicely. The Crabs didn't achieve that much here for Erwin, and the 40mm grenade launchers pushing in nicely. Toa PC gets the capture onto the area, and we have a Jaguar cluster coming after the MX-30 EM2. EM1 will find a good hit, won't quite find the kill. Crab sitting around. Got a couple of Santanas killed by the Gazelle, but frontline wise here, going quite well here for SupeXavi. The P4 PC will get shot into pieces by the grenade launcher there. Does go down as well. Whilst Luck 40mm pushing around in the center. Situation in the north stable as well. Both sides have lost quite a couple of units here already. Combined arms is a bit in shambles on both sides. MX-10s engaging onto the Luck 40mm. New units have to be brought around. Okay, a lot of AA here coming in from SupeXavi. Maybe being a bit overly worried here with 3 AMX-30s running onto the battlefield. Whilst we get more P4 PCs coming around, another VAB Legion moving onto the battlefield here as well. And C12 AG trying to get a kill, but yeah, it's not a great bomber. Leaves the MX-10, the light armor here alive, and is out for a good amount of reload. So, not sure if that was worthwhile. And Legion still alive. SupeXavi not testing out the water more in the south because, again, mostly defensive units there as well. So, bit stuck here maybe. As we get the unitaries, we get their own gun helicopter here with the BO-105 in Spanish service with the 20mm autocannon built in into the bottom. MX-30 in recon and the E variant. Lots more engagements here happening now in the center. Lug trying to get the kill, might find it actually. MX-10 not able to retaliate here and gets killed by the Lug. Important little kill there. As Legionnaires tried to come in here for Erwin, and there is more heavy force in the late game basically for SupeXavi. So that's a problem here for the 6. 6 usually wants to keep the game constantly agile and wants to get a tick early on. That didn't happen here yet. And the front line is starting to freeze in as well. So both of these things on surface not that great for the 6, but it still can maybe keep up the pressure here. Jaguar cluster coming in the north here will get a good hit, will find the Recon AMX-30 MX-30 RE with the Roland 2 AA missiles. Can't quite find the kill either, can only find a hit, so that's a good cluster bomber run. Well, a lot of tanks come out for SupeXavi now. A bit more recon here would be helpful maybe. Roland does miss in the north. We have MX-10 RCs trying to get into a better position. Legionnaires moving in here as well. They're both sides on a decent defensive setup. With the center captured here for Erwin. That is where you want to be. Finally the +2 as the 6 Leger. Want to get ahead a bit further in points. Artillery park-wise, both sides have good options as well. The Spanish have the slightly better one with the 203mm. As we see the Legionnaires trying to rotate into the center here and to get a bit of an infantry foothold there as well. Milan 1 won't find a shot with the missile. The 40mm grenade launcher getting involved here as well. Legionnaires and the MXs moving around. VAB getting in there as well. Finally finding the grenade launcher kill. So center situation here now not looking all that hot for SupeXavi. He is bringing in the tank push for the south though. Couple of Milans going around the place as well. Let's have the grenade launcher. Trying to get some kills here. Ooh, VAB will find the BMR here most likely. Yes. Does go down. The AMXs here in a fight. We have a BMR with the TOW 2 ATGM as well. The MX-30 here. Getting into another position. As the enemy MX-10RC is retreating. Legion going down in the north to the Milan. Well, some planes coming in for strafing runs actually. Hold on, 3 a bit too far away. Here we go. That's the big artillery piece I was talking about. The 203mm. The M110 gun. That can bring havoc to any part of the battlefield. Mirage. Staying a bit away. MX-10 finds the MX-30. Good kill there. We have the TOW 2 getting involved. F-18 gets the kill. Ooh, that's beautiful. Gets the kill on the Mirage. Okay. But the death of the center units here mean that SupeXavi has to play a bit more around the southern part. Celtic gets found, but that MX-30 shouldn't be there. And Erwin even might be in a spot where could push deeper. Yeah, gets a kill against the MX-30 RE. M110 getting involved against the HGM position in the south. This is the right base to engage in for SupeXavi. Needs to get into the Papa point. So getting some good hits there. Milan 2 immediately going down. Dynops trying to disengage but get got as well. So good double hit there. Recon unit actually engaging against the Legionnaire Apilas. To get some kills. We find more BMR PP coming around in the northern part of the map. MX-30 in a decent spot, but needs the infantry to push a bit further forward so that it doesn't get ambushed as easily. Yeah, some new legionnaires in the south. F-18 falling back. Whilst the VAB legions rotating around the flank here. Cute little 8-wheeled vehicles setting up the heavy MG fire onto the infantry. And that's a mistake. MX-30, EM2 pushing in on their own. Legionnaires at least missed twice, so the MX-30 gets a couple more shots out, but the other one does go down against the enemy MX-10s as well, and the one in the south here being shot at by the Legionnaires. Really annoying time there for SupeXavi. The infantry fought out a bit as well. Can't really push into the middle, and I feel like SupeXavi would have to get the heat a bit out of the game and start setting up a bigger push. Like the light fights with a couple of units, the 6 is really strong at. Once you have 4 or 5 MX-30s and you can rotate through them, that's not the case anymore. But SupeXavi currently trading away units constantly so that that kind of setup doesn't come into existence, and currently is actually really low on AT weapons. M110 does try to find some kills, but latest trades here of SupeXavi, not all that hot. And a +4 would reduce the time to victory here by a lot for our player in red. So giving up the position in the south like that, really bad for SupeXavi now. Center obviously in the hands of Erwin anyway, but the latest changes there, not great for SupeXavi. Tries to get a bit more infantry out, but the lack of MX-30s, that's going to be the problem. Those are great fire support, those are great against the MX-10s in numbers, and we even have a GG early on here. And Erwin does take the victory. SupeXavi not quite seeing a way back in there. Maybe a bit early. The KD wasn't that off just yet, but yeah, did for sure play the last 3-4 minutes in that game not all that well. So would have taken a good bit of effort there to get back. As I said, I still believe it's a bit early to surrender at that point. When you have the good bit heavier division with the MR10s and with the real MBTs, light MBTs, but like battle tanks nonetheless against only MX10s on the other side. But Xavi did surrender here, meaning that Erwin does get the 1-0 and does once more reduce the chances here of SupeXavi making it to the playoffs. SupeXavi needs a victory here in the next game. Let's see if we will get one or if ErwinvWolfenstein can get the 2-0. Quick break, guys, and then we're going to be back. Game number 2. So here we go with game number 2. Erwin up 1-0. And we have SupeXavi this time around on the 6 US infantry on a pretty different map here on Omen. Playing against the map, against the division that is pretty interesting for this map. 31st Tankova, a division that is not the fastest right off the gate, and it's a heavy tank division, or at least a relatively heavy tank division, which usually aren't the best on Omen because the map is pretty wide. The map has a lot of angles for side shots and for good infantry engagements. So keeping up with a fast BD division here with 31st won't be the easiest. We get a good bunch of T-55 AM1s here coming around, and the T-72 as well. So these have decent fire support, but they don't have smoke, which with good HGMs, and they do get one-shotted by a enemy coming at them with a TOW 2, that could be a problem. On the other side, we get LRS in UEs, and a couple of airbornes, and especially one of the best infantry squads in the game with the Navy SEALs. So this should be pretty interesting here, coming into the action with these guys. VCP moving around, M48 A5 will move up to the front line here around Gregory as well. Well, we have the Pathfinders and the Airborne Dragon moving into the southern part of the map. LRS moving forward to get around towards the center of the map here, trying to grab some of the terrain there. Navy SEALs. And then in the north, only a Pathfinder. But light recon unit and a stinger so far for SupeXavi. So focus is on attacking Gregory and getting into Boris and holding Boris. And that is overlapping with what's happening on the other side, because Erwin also seems to try to get a good amount of forces here towards Gregory, maybe trying to get around onto the open field. We're pushing towards Anna here. And also doesn't deploy all that much into the north, but still obviously deploying a decent amount of units into the center here, with a good couple of ZU-23s as anti-infantry. So this is a relatively solid deployment, more so looking from the last patch. I'm not a big fan of the heavy amount of tanks and the lack of normal infantry. ZU-23s aren't as great against infantry as they had been before the nerf at the end of last year, where their damage output against infantry got reduced. Okay, the F-15 opener here to protect the UEs. He is playing it safe, but also relatively expensive plane here with the F-15C Eagle with Barrows. Could come around and grab the Me Too here, but outside of that, not much value in this unit just yet. With the Vulcan gun, can be pretty decent at strafing down infantry as well. And yeah, the Hueys get quite deep here with the LRS. Me Too does get shut down. 23s moving around. There is a Strela and a Priusa. No long range AA though, because the F-15 is playing it really deep, trying to get behind the enemy air spawn here, it seems. Trying to stick there. UEs being used as a recon unit as well. We have some more airborne dragons moving around here as well. LRS pushing forward. Pathfinders assisted by the 50 cal Jeep together with the UE. Try to clear out the enemy recon infantry, and it should be successful. Airborne Dragon doing a decent job here as well. Navy SEALs and LRS pushing forward as the ZU-23s though start to show up, and they will obviously rinse the UE. And they are relatively scary for the other units here as well. Airborne's moving around. The Humvees start to get sold. F-15 actually trying to come around as a strafer. Did a bit of damage. That's the tank plop here coming in, who could use some infantry. No real investment on the side of Erwin just yet, which is interesting. ZU-23 is rinsing the LRS here. LRS need to get the hell out of there. Navy SEAL's not in the perfect spot either, and ooh, that might be the LRS. Yeah, that's the LRS down. CV-wise, SupeXavi is moving around here. Erwin is moving around. Humvee gets immediately shut down here as well. New units would be needed to hold the south. Let's we have a good couple of Streltsy moving to try to re-secure the center here. National Guard M48 just gets completely overrun there by the enemy tank blob. And the first airborne dragon does fall as well. SupeXavi here has to be careful to not completely lose the Selden setup here. LRS can't do much about this either, with some maybe some good side shots of the law. Could deal some decent damage. Does find only a okay hit here, and is out of ammo now, so LRS in trouble as well. But we see a Me-24 moving in. High toes rotating around. LRS trying to get the hell out of dodge, but gets overwhelmed as well there. So good cleanup here on the southern part of the front for ErwinvWolfenstein. Well, that is a mistake here though. The Velitel should not be here, losing the CV there. And SupeXavi could move the Humvee from the north easily into the center now and start to get a tick. The Humvee in the south, on the other hand, that doesn't have an easy time. Could maybe be testing out the water, try to get into the enemy rear there, but not trying to achieve that just yet either. In the north, MiG-23 doing a bit of a strafing run. Ooh, we have a Corsair with HE bombs coming around. That's the big 25 kilogram bombs, and they leave a decent bang. To get a kill there, but more is needed to get towards Ivan, and some CV really should move into the center here. Okay, there we go. Infantry leader has arrived. Our team leader, Aito, gets the +1 finally. Whilst, oh, the T-72s here, pushing deep. Pathfinder, get found. The Humvee tow need to be a bit more careful than this, with the enemy moving around behind your rear. See Corsairs with PTs coming around again, trying to get some shots out. And we get a good hit. Ooh, good kill on the T-72. Humvee tows doing a good job. Corsair gets pushed back. Whilst the Navy SEAL in the center did a decent job 1 versus 3 here, but obviously outnumbered, pushed back as well. Another Humvee tow here in a decent spot. Another one for the northern part. Oh no, they keep on moving here. Okay, they at least start to engage again. And the first shot of the T-55 did miss, and they get the kill here. Really, really close range. B-Man here with the rockets. Let's see what it can do here. Should be pretty good. Yeah, SupeXavi realizing that this is not the engagement that you want with the Humvees. Second one does survive, gets out of there, full on reverse, but the T-72B does find it. Humvee CP will run into the OT-64C, so that will go down as well, meaning that SupeXavi needs a new defensive line here in the south. Is at the same time trying to push the enemy rear zone, so that's quite the wild move there as well. And the 50 cal plus Navy SEALs for now holding the center. Streltsy, PTRs, Saperis under fire. Yui will go down. Stinger does get a hit. Please do some damage there. Whilst the southern push, this is scary for our player in blue. We see an OH Scout. We see some of the few tanks that you get with 6. The old M48, A5, ACAF. No smoke on these guys. They get good ammunition, bringing them up to 19 pen, but that's the only good part about them. As they don't have a stabilizer. They only have 7.6mm MGs. And the main gun in general, not the most accurate, and Reservist losing accuracy really quickly under stress. So, +1 here currently for SupeXavi, but the southern part of the map is open. Wolfenstein just doesn't quite have the forces to reinforce in there though. Still focusing on the center here. ZU-23, Paris trying their best. Mi-24V rocket there goes down in the center. So, that's annoying as well. And we have the COCV transports. Those Humvees with a... Oh no, this is COCV, right? The truck with the M60 on the rear. Trying to give some fire support. Eagle using its strafing capabilities. Get around for the action. Corsair trying to find the Strela. Trying to reduce the air defense, and that's a good way to victory. When you use 6 US, if the enemy is out of air defense, then your Corsairs and your A10s can come in time and again and just ruin the rest of it. So, good targeting here. Should get the hell out of dodge though. Doesn't want to fly directly over Bruiser. Oh no, 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 SupeXavi. Ooh, the hill is rescuing the Corsair here on the way out. Otherwise, it would have gotten down. Pushy in the north, not quite working out, but the +1 in the middle is still nice, is still value. The Navy SEALs there went down for now, though. New ones are needed. US Marine Corps security forces coming in instead. The defensive line in the south did hold once more a game where both sides are pleading forces quite regularly. The T-72B1 falling in the south. That it was an issue. And keeping it low and reducing the unit saturation from the board, that's for sure in favor of 6 US. Keeping the enemy from being able to afford a good air defense network and from getting a lot of T-72s just running around into you in a blob. So that is a good thing is going on here right now for SupeXavi. Also, single Streltsy likely won't be able to hold this push, especially if a Cobra also assists as well, as they might just go straight for the center though. But there is a there with the ZU-23s and so Cobras need to be a bit more careful there. You see F-15 getting down, MiG-23 doing its job there. F-15C Eagle, mistake by SupeXavi. Can't afford to lose those fighters here. You are already pressed thin on the front line, so losing one of your more valuable units there, not great for a player in blue. MiG-23 gets the Cobra as well. Ooh, the Eyehawk gets a hit, but doesn't get the finish. Stinger, as I said, that Eyehawk nearly does, but next shot there does whiff. Oh, is that a sideshot potential? No, it's going after the BMP2, but that's a good kill nonetheless. And the T-72 has to be careful there. Could take good damage as well. A lot of central forces here moving around, trying to get into the action. We have a CV now coming in on Erwin's side, trying to stop the tick, but this is the next big issue for our player in red, as this is way worse defended than what we saw in the south here. H-58 flying around. Chelsea does go down in the fight in the center. No Navy SEALs here right now, only the US Marine Corps security forces, which are pretty good on the defense. They do have Resolute. Their infantry fighting capabilities with only one sniper rifle are somewhat hampered though. Like the combat power is okay. It's not great. A10, no, Corsair here with the ATGMs. Coming around, trying to deal some damage, but Abuser once more going really good there. Oh no, a plane lost as well. SupeXavi starting to lose some of the important units necessary to keep the win condition up with the 6 US. Gets the fire team leader in though. That will be a full capture and that will be a good amount of points here. There is no CV close by. And it likely is going to be a full capture, which will be a +4. That going on for 2 minutes or 3. That is going to be nice, even if this can't be held. ZU goes down though. T-72 does go down in the middle finally as well. MiG-23 does get shut down. As the F-15 is coming in for the next one. Doesn't get the kill there. Is trying to get out. Both sides whiffing on the next shot. Coop in the south here. MiG-23 flying in, coming in after the tow Cobras. Will get the kill there. Stinger trying to retaliate, but it can't kill and it doesn't even get the hit there. The Cobras here for the assistance on the side. Nice idea. As the fight team leader, the longer it can stay in here, the longer this +4 goes on, the higher the chances for SupeXavi are that the enemy might not actually find a way to actually get those points over the next 26 minutes. It's not that easy to catch up with just a bit of extra play here on this map. You usually, if you want to get good points, have to go through the sides one way or another. And SupeXavi here with a really, really solid +4 right now. South, not really an issue, and no CV on the way to the north yet. Fire team leader goes down, but leaving the tick online here, that's a mistake of Erwin on a map that is where it is so hard to get points on, as like this one. So MG's pushing forward. Good amount of Streltsies on the other side. Dragons coming in as well. Fire team leader keeping up the balance here in the zone. +4 does continue. As we don't have any artillery on either side. Don't even have that many reinforcements here from Erwin lately. Really, the CV should be affordable at this point. Should go north there again to get the Ivan point back. Then, yeah, maybe pushing Anna, maybe pushing Dimitri. I don't believe the center grind is where you want to be right now with the 31st here. As your infantry is decent, but the one of 6 US should be better. Plus, there are a couple of angles from the side that are left open for ATGMs like the Humvee tow. So, all of that keep it a bit stressful here to push through the center. It's actually going okay. Erwin actually maybe could even threaten the whole situation a bit harder right now. But it would be still better with the north captured. Okay, T-72 AK finally bought, but that will be another 2 minutes or so until it arrives with its slower speed, which will give SupeXavi a good amount of points here. Ferry RPOs getting involved into the action as well. Stingers on the fire. So rotating around. We have artillery pieces here for SupeXavi as well. So SupeXavi is still trying to play the long game here. Usually playing the division that needs to get it a bit quicker, but with the point lead, that's not necessarily the case anymore. That you maybe can just retire and see if anybody gets close to you again. Nearly a 1000 point lead. Tusken Cav Scouts starting to get overwhelmed. No real reinforcements here in the south lately. From either side though. Fire team leader doing a decent job together with his guys. That's reinforcement wise. Relatively little coming in here. Okay, finally. Some units here moving around. But we have a couple of Itos rotating in. Artillery here, not finding a shot just yet. MiG-23 does get hurt, but might get killed here by the Stinger. Oh! Stinger finds the kill. Navy SEAL at the same time, though, going down. The center push here for Erwin is reeled. Over 1000 point advantage now for SupeXavi, but we see a T-72 reaching the northern part of the map. Will start to get the full capture on there. Whilst we see new HGM units coming around. We see some AH-1S Cobras coming in, the Fire Team Dragons, and a 50 cal rolling in onto the battlefield. So all light infantry support plus a couple of ATGMs here. SupeXavi not really playing much with air lately, but that doesn't mean that there might not be some more air behind all of this. Just that it isn't quite set up to engage right now. Would be needed most likely. The helicopters coming around. Tusken Scouts under fire. Decent hit against the T-72B. There is just nothing happening. Cobra, the decent little support tool, but we already talked about a couple of times that maybe might even be better on another part of the map where there is less saturation in ZU-23s and reusers. Ihawk actually does get shut down here by the T-72B and its severe missile, so SupeXavi once more not with the greatest traits in the last 3-4 minutes. So just like in game number 1, is now falling a bit behind. Is in a better point situation right now. Has 2 decent artillery pieces coming around. F-15 gets the MiG-23. All those MiG-23 kills now. they start to add up, so there might be air in the space to rotate around the cluster bombers, the heat plane, and the conventional ones to get some stuff going. And the push here is pretty scary. Tanks engaging against the infantry, and nothing right now outside of breaking line of sight for the blue team here, for SupeXavi to do. Aircraft, that obviously is something that you could potentially stop with the own fighter potential. There we go, F-15 rotating onto the battlefield. Gets a hit, gets another kill. Victory 3, number 2. Can't be caught as the hit on the F-15 pushes us back. Units needed here. Right deal. Guys. Yeah, slowly but surely advancing through north as well. But counter push in the south, not right yet either. 19 minutes, halfway point. Ooh, F-15 coming around again. Now you only need enough slots for strike aircraft at the same time. Then this actually might work out with air spam later on. There is no great setup here right now from Erwin here to get this all secured. Still considers maybe going after Anna, but this is a fine spot as well. We here starting to rein in. The lack of forces in general of SupeXavi right now is really worrisome. This is all ATGMs as well, no infantry here whatsoever, not even AGL teams. Likely mistake on this map, where you usually want to have a decent amount of infantry, but Xavi not quite feeling it, so rotating around without it. F-15 does get shut down out of the sky there. Yeah, not quite sure what its plan was. F-15 that deep into the airspace without any plan is a bit odd. They have a Corsair with HE bombs. Maybe it was to figure out where the enemy has their heavy blob, but if it did, the enemy coops still get the fire and get a hit and push the Corsair back. It nearly even dies. It dies! Oh no! Oh, there's another oh no moment here for SupeXavi. Losing another one of those key, expensive, and heavy planes that you wanna try to rotate your late game into. And without them, this setup here becomes quite a different one. Erwin only with a +1 there will take a long while to get close to what SupeXavi has. Even with +1, couldn't even quite get there. But SupeXavi needs to play a bit more reserveful. Is maneuvering individual units in game 1 and game 2 too often into the line of fire without the real combined arms movement around it? And that starts to become a bit of a problem here as well. M48 getting into the engagement, but yeah, the M110, the artillery pieces here, the 5mm howitzers, they have a lot of work cut out for them. They just want to shoot through here. But southern engagement's quite interesting. Ito's sitting around. More airborne dragons rotating onto the battlefield, but they should be deployed more defensive. The +1 here currently, that's okay. It's not great, obviously, to be ticked again and not be the one taking, but with the slow take and with the point lead, that is still okay for now. Chelsea trying to move around, push here in the north after the early capture didn't work out either. So still SupeXavi here, struggling to quite find the opening. And with the amount of AA invested in here, The air opening likely is going to be closed soon, so might as well try to go on to some potential area behind the enemy. This not being spotted by the Germans is a big issue. This point capture here in the rear would go pretty well. The 0810A gets pushed back. That you keeping up the fire there. Motostrelkis and BMP2s do go down, but in the end, still a pretty decent spot here for the player in red. Just still significant losses to the Air Force now. That is a bit worrisome. Infantry fight finally gets into the action here. 72As helping out with fire support. No fire support on the other side. No airplanes inside to help out. And if Erwin actually gets into center, I believe this game is over. I believe that the moment that Erwin gets towards the center zone, there's too much control for the area around it from there. And that would just be the end of it. Instead, the engagements go a bit different, but M48 does go down in the south. New CPC moving around. That could still just try to run deep and try to capture some more points, yes. +1 here for Erwin does continue. SupeXavi getting on top of the Wolfenstein artillery here. Two of them really clumped up there. That would be great. That would make air engagements here a lot easier for NATO. Find them. That's Ito and Co. Try to roam around. Yeah, the situation is starting to drag out here now. Airborne Dragon on the defense. SupeXavi still not quite at the spot where you want to be. Get a full defensive line here again, but there is no pressure right now from Erwin either. That's a mistake on Erwin. Erwin just should absolutely try to get a +3 online, then all the issues that Erwin currently has of trying to catch up would be easily handled. But that currently is not the case. It stays at a +1, so Erwin still needs to push in somewhere. Pathfinders, fire teams rotating around, good Humvees. And we have the Prowler seat now. Let's see if the Prowler with the seat missiles can find something. Is firing towards the pre-user. Does miss twice. Coops getting on top of it as well. Oh no. Yeah, the 6 US airplay here. It's a bit of mismanagement by SupeXavi. It's also a good bit of unfortunate situations. I mean, you should never fly the seaplane like that straight over the enemy airspace. It should just try to get shots in and then turn away on a good angle without getting too close to the enemy. Like the straight flying into the enemy center, that never is the best idea, but getting hit there with that high ECM plane also quite unfortunate. And yeah, SupeXavi needs to get something else opened up than the center, because the center, it's rapidly collapsing there. We're about to see the artillery pieces here being hit. Cobra coming around, a good couple of units trying to help out as well, but the southern situation here currently developing interestingly. Chelsea here, super close to the CV. Not quite on top of it. Humvee Tow instead, the victim here. And those are good little vehicles. Just ripping apart the first unit there. And the CV that is trying to get in there likely will get killed as well. SupeXavi rotating it a bit around, but there it will be still inside. 72 being micro well as well, and Yeah, neither the infantry of SupeXavi currently finding good engagements, nor do the anti-tank do it, and the air is completely out. Like, lately, those trades here for Erwin have been really, really good. The setup of SupeXavi not quite where it needs to be to get the full best out of the combined arms, and Erwin just needs to get a slightly bigger stick. 10 minutes remaining, getting into the hot phase of the match. Whilst we have the blue side trying to get more kills, but a lot more blue units instead dying here right now. Both of the artillery pieces getting shut down by the Prima. So none of that either. As Erwin's Stalsies get found out, but Erwin isn't pushing towards any capture zone. And a +1, as you can see, is just taking way too slow, and it's not getting there. Fireteam Dragon going down. We get a T-72 B1 shut down in the south though. And if SupeXavi can get into this zone and keep the tick low, maybe even get a couple of points, that would be massive. AOA 10, the Recon Warthog trying its best to figure out what you could potentially do there. But the AO 10A just getting pushed down. Wait, 10A getting pushed back, even getting killed. Yeah, you don't want to be a plane in Xavi's Air Force. And Xavi in general, trickling in the planes a bit too much. Especially with seaplanes, you never want to send them in alone. You always want to send them in as part of a strike package, like either slightly ahead or slightly behind the strike package. And then have your other planes hit the targets and be protected by the seaplane. And at the same time, the enemy having to decide if they want to turn their weapons on against the seaplane or keep them turned off because of the risk of losing their units. So that's a bit of an issue. Fire team leaders rotating around. US Air Force security forces coming in as well. Well, it's Naito trying to get on top of the fellas here, and Erwin still not quite pushing it. 8 minutes 22. SupeXavi being stopped in the south, that's a big issue for SupeXavi, bringing around more infantry, but the infantry here not quite being combined arms enough either. 6 obviously isn't usually the best combined arms in the first place, but you still want to have a bit more than just unloading the infantry there and moving through, trying to deal with some tanks and so on. Whilst F-15 gets hit, will get pushed back, trying to get the hell out of dodge. BMP-2 does get shut down by the TOW-2. Ooh, the US Marine Corps security forces with only the 2 Streltsy and Motostrelki might get overwhelmed so that these units can come in. And yeah, Erwin still needs to get in here. Erwin still needs to try to get into the enemy rear. T-72A moving forward. But those units here would be more than enough to have gotten in here a couple of times by now. Erwin just not quite understanding how much they actually killed here. But SupeXavi is trying to get another spot where they can reduce or even stop the enemy tick. And this might be it. Weltsies versus US Marine Corps security forces. They are pushing forward. They likely are going to win there, but the important part is if these guys gonna make it in, and chances are they are. The tanks over here not moving. Only now units started moving. Humvee with a TOW-2 trying to get a shot, doesn't quite do so. Whilst BADS on the defense, rotating around. 30 patrol will move forward. BADS coming around as well. And we see a couple more TOW-2s around there as well. Ito coming in with another HGM. 72's pushing in, getting closer. The tick would still be enough if it swings around now to at least get a draw. But to get a victory, you would even need more than just the +3 right now. Would be 120 points per minute? No, it actually would be enough if it would happen right now. CV is on the way, but the Velitels aren't moving in. And the ATGMs here by now set up nicely. 7D coming around. DH helicopter is getting shut down, and the CV sneaking in here slowly into the south. Erwin taking a bit too long here, leaving the +4 up for a bit too long, and now waiting a bit too long to actually push to any other zone out of the middle to try to get the tick difference. It will be likely a really, really big point lead, but the question is, can it actually be a victory? And the answer might be no. It still is a good potential for a draw if the units here keep on moving forward, but a lot of these units are just not moving. Like an A-click here would solve the issue most likely, but that A-click is not coming in, and with the CV moving in here in the south for the blue side and starting to get the tick online, it might just be a loss here for Erwin. SupeXavi playing the zone game quite well. A lot of other mistakes here in this game by our player in blue, but playing the points is not one of them, and the points is what decides the victory in WARNO in the end, and currently it's 1,000 to 600. And yeah, the Velitel would only get a +1 here right now with this. No CV for the south. The other CV for the center is over here. Yeah, the T-72 that actually rotates south now. The T-72 up north here not rolling in. Like, this is the moment where you just A-click forward, because that's the only hope that you have, and Erwin is not panicking enough. I always say it in situations like this. This is the moment where you have to realize that you have to panic, where you just have to A-click and hope for it. You did do the trades. You have to pray that trades are enough and just A-click your units in so that your CV can make it through. Finally, the T-72 in the north is moving, but it is a bit too late. It will still need a minute 50 or so. CV over here is not getting closer to the zone either because of the rest of the units behind it not moving. And yeah, Erwin played a fantastic game when it comes to killing stuff. Didn't play such a great game, but actually comes to profiting from it. The classic Hannibal situation, not knowing how to use the victory. And Village here now trying to move in on their own. That won't work out either, because all the fire support behind it is not actually helping out here. 48 sitting around. ACP sitting in the north. We have the fire team dragons trying to push forward here, trying to get some good hits. But yeah, CV finally recaptures it. Erwin finally back on a +1, but with only 2 minutes remaining. But the T-72 just going through it here right now in the north. Ito likely not good enough to stop it. MG firepower, yeah, gets it cleared out, but it is a bit too late. This could have come 2 minutes earlier. This should just still come. There's 2 T-72s here. There's set use. There's no push power whatsoever on the other side. CV still keeps it neutral right now for SupeXavi. 500 points different. The cluster bomber nearly got the T-72 leader here. And yeah, SupeXavi will secure game number 2, knowing how to get the points. And with that, 1 minute remaining, will get the W here. Erwin, no chance of getting there anymore. Just panicked too little. It's always interesting, but in moments like this, you just have to panic. It's the only way. Just choose them all, A-click movement onto the edge of the map, and pray for the gods that your trades were good enough. And the trades likely were good enough, but the rest, the lack of movement here, and the freezing in the late game, the too heavy of a focus on actually still getting trades, still trying to get positions. Um, like that did cost Erwin here not quite realizing how far ahead they were at this point. Bunkers getting shut down. Have another T-72 AK here sitting in, but yeah, Erwin's +1 doesn't even stay as the A-10 goes down. Yeah, the rest of the units here not supporting the leaders. The leaders trying to do it on their own, not working out. And there we go, GG. And SupeXavi actually making it close here in the end with the kills on the CVs and Erwin not using the rest of the forces. But Erwin still coming out on top in the trades. But SupeXavi coming out a good bit on the points, and that does win the game here. So GGVP to SupeXavi coming out in the points here. And with that, keeping it at a draw and keeping the chances alive of making it into the playoffs. That said, this is it for this best of 2. Have another one coming up though. Quick break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with a bit more action here, as we're gonna bring you T55 versus Tactics Fuckboy. So quick break, and then we're gonna be back with those two. So here we go. We have the Tactics Fuckboy on the left side. We have T55 on the right side. Coming around, and yeah, we have a FSP in the rear. This is Division 4, and we have LRS, we have sniper teams coming around. A lot of recon here. All that you usually don't see with HVS. Versus 4th Matcherino on the other side. Coming around with a good bit of extra forward deployment as well. And before we go in here, quick shout out to the Matcherino page where you guys can claim codes again. We have 50 fresh codes that can be claimed to add 25 cents per click to the prize pool. If you helped out with the first bunch, you can help out again now. So go away at it. Link is in the chat right now. Just click on the link, go over here, click the claim code button, add 25 cents that will be paid out in real dollaroos to some of the top players in the end. And yeah, help us getting a bit closer to the higher stretch goals as well. Whilst we have Culture Mega Schaffitzen, we have SPG9s, we have Culture Mega Medis coming around here in the south as well. Culture Mega Einsatzgruppe will move into the southern zone here. And a good couple of little Black Hawk helicopters coming around in numbers. Ranger Dragons and Rangers, so pure infantry menace here coming out of Tactics Fuckboy. Whilst on the other side, yeah, mostly light units as well. No M1s, no T-55s, and M1 would be really, really good in this matchup early on. Okay, I'm changing a bit. Like, the 4th is not good at dealing with medium tanks and heavy tanks either, so M1A1 could go pretty well here as well. Else, we see some Strellas deploying here on the airport map. Picks and bands, if we have a quick look, that's the other one. We have airport as the map and Vertigo as the map. We now have T-55 with 4th versus Boy with the 8th, and then we have 6 Moto Velke Divizia versus 4th Divizia here coming around in the second game. 4th Divizia, quite a nice little heavy deck, and yeah, 6. Pretty flexible division there as well. So this should be pretty interesting. M60s, not actually that amazing in this matchup. The T-55 AMs, the more nice T-55s on the other side, quite good as well. So this is an interesting one. SPG9s and the Fagots rotating around here. Fagot will try to get into a good spot here, covering the open field around, securing the classic 2 points that are in favor of the red side, Theodore and Boris. But blue side usually has the better entrance towards Elena and Emma. And yeah, the field supply point, guys, don't use it in 1v1. Like, there is no point in using it in 1v1. Get this thing out of your deck if you're playing 1v1. Don't do it. It's costing you 175 points in your early game. All other supply point units can be sold. This can't. So the others are basically free. This costs you 175 points. And the only advantage is that you only get 6,000 supply out of the others, and you get 10,000 supply more basically out of this. But you also need to micro with other supply units from it to the front line time and again, which costs you extra. So especially for new players, the field supply point is a immense amount of extra micro that they just can't afford to use. If you're a new player, the field supply point is the biggest trap that you can fall into, because it costs you 175 points that are super valuable in the opener. It could be 2 extra infantry units. So that means that you are at a disadvantage in the early engagements, which already will be tough for you. And on the other side, also forces you to micro your supply units from the back to the front line next to it, which is not worthwhile either. And as I said, other supply units are basically free or on loan because you pay for them, but you can also sell them back, and then you are plus minus 0, whilst the field supply point will stick around and constantly cost you 175 points, and you don't need that much supply, especially as a new player as well, where most of the engagements will end up in your units dying, so that you don't have that much to repair in the first place. So for reloading your artillery and your AA, the normal supply points should be enough. I mean, it's on the way. LRS coming up. Looking forward to it. To the the Soviet Marines coming in with that. What's it called? Luftkissenboot is it is in German. The air cushion boat. I forgot what's the English name for them. Scouts coming around here. Rangers not quite getting where they want to be and getting shut up by Mi-24s and SPG-9s here. A lot of infantry combat. As I said, I would have loved an M1 here early on, as the ranger leader is trying to rotate around. Get a Blackhawk being forced out and the special forces infantry just being left out in the open. No fire support here for the American infantry is a big issue, and the Fallschirmjägers just crash through it. Fallschirmjägers, special forces as well, being able to overwhelm all of this and starting to get through these guys bit by bit. LRS getting overwhelmed. You see Fallschirmjäger Scharfschütze trying to find a better positioning. The LRS and the sniper usually should find it there, but the situation on the front line here is devastating for Tactics Fuckboy, as the fire support never arrived. And yeah, against Fourth, you need to start a bit slower, and you need to focus on your strengths. 8th US is a terrible division in the opener. It's out of the classic divisions, it's maybe has the weakest opener of them all, because its recon tab is really not that good in combat. The scouts of the Americans don't have AT weapons, so they can't stop light vehicles. Ammo at 50 is okay, but it's weaker than an IFV and is slow. And the LRS is not a unit that wants to be in combat either. So you don't really have anything that can fight. The Bradley, if you use it, that is okay, but also only on the defense. It can't just be a clashing force. Anything else with an autocannon is more efficient. And oh no, don't use the Wild Weasel Seed. That early on. The Wild Weasel Seed is a unit that you, first of all, usually just don't want to use at all. And second of all, you only want to use it when you are bringing it in with an actual strike package. Never invest into a seed plane on its own. It's never worth it. Like, it needs to kill 3 or 4 AA
It was at this moment that Nathan knew
that.
He fucked up.
It means that you just have less units on the front line here. So the 8th US here currently not looking good. We have Me-2s coming around. We have a MiG-23 AT coming in from the other side as well. And yeah, the reinforcements here currently not coming in. MiG-23 trying to get the M631, getting the kill there. Tank, yeah, can't really do much here at this point anymore. It does not have anything to spot for it. E24 trying to find a way in. And yeah, the situation here. The classic traps, like, this is the perfect example. That's why I like covering Division 4s, to help out the guys getting better and also to help all of you guys to get better. Yeah, another unit that is completely pointless. Like, it sounds cool and all. Like, siege plane sounds cool, e-warfare plane sounds cool. Completely pointless on its own. And it is super niche in the use case that you actually can bring it. So just don't buy it like that. And yeah, just focus more on getting a better combined arms up and focus on what your division actually can do and how you have to play in a matchup like this. Like, this was a meeting engagement with one division that is really good at early meeting engagements before deployment, and one division that is really terrible at it, and exactly that it played out exactly that way. And even with great micro, you would not really have been able to shift that around. Like, even on the top level, player with the forces in their hand could not have done a lot much better once the units were sent this way. So that's a real problem. And yeah, now you are just so far behind that little can save you here, as our player in blue, Ihawk coming around, M60s coming around, as we see Fallschirmjäger Einsatzgruppe moving forward. The Fallschirmjäger Führer slowly moving to the front line there as well. W trying to come around, capture a bit more ground. But the LRS will fight the Einsatzgruppe here in the south as well. MiG-23 coming in. getting a decent strafing run in. 150, getting into it in a decent space, and yeah, the opener here did work out. Opener is doing well, and with the Fallschirmjäger Führer about to capture this, the fourth, just like in classic old times, with the good old Fallschirmjäger rush with some SPG9s, is doing it. A couple of Me-24s, like this is how fourth wants to go about things. And yeah, as 8th player, you know that you have to give up a bit of ground and just need to focus on your heavier forces. Like, as 8th, you always have to check out, am I the lighter or am I the heavier division? Do I need to put up pressure in the first 10 minutes, or do I need to just take the first 10 minutes, build up my M1A1 fleet? Often it's the second one, because there are not that many divisions that can outclass M110s and M1A1s in the late game. There are a couple. Against those, you need to be playing a bit more aggressive. But in 80% of the cases, or even more, in WARNO, as 8VS, you are actually the slower late game division. And yeah, the M60 is here trying to come around. We see another helicopter trying to get towards business. So this should be quite interesting. But MiG-23 is rotating around. And yeah, +6, picking up M60, getting hit here by the Fallschirmjäger Einsatzgruppe and getting blown up. And this is the moment where you should realize that, yeah, there is no point here to actually try to get anything done. And yeah, as you can see, the field supply point even took some damage here now. And like the times that it actually gets to be used, it's so limited that you actually use up more than 6,000 of its points. Like, before that, it's not really being used because you could get the same out of the normal supply card for cheaper. So, like, and the time that 16,000 supplies are used up out of it, you barely ever see that, even in active 1v1s when people try to use it. So, that's why currently it's just not worth bringing. MiG-29 trying to come around, getting a good hit, getting some kills. Another bombing run here. M60s going down, and yep, T-55 here being relentless, getting after the enemy. SPW going down, but hopefully this will be a good lesson to a good couple of you, and the tactic fuck boy as well, to get a bit better setup here in the future. As yeah, the Lars, that's a fun little unit, but you have to get a better grip of your opener in a matchup like this. +7 now, getting the quick tick up, and can speed this up here a bit now because this obviously isn't going to change much here. As yeah, the units just get cleaned up. We see the MLRS going after the Fallschirmjäger Führer, getting the kill there. Not a great unit either. Like, a couple of relatively weak units here being used in a row. And that obviously doesn't help your chances of winning either. The MLRS is currently firing a bit too slow and not dealing quite enough damage to really be worthwhile, as it's a relatively expensive unit. Not completely useless, especially as you can push it relatively close. But yeah, the M60s here, fleet here just going down as T-55 is coming over the hill. He's moving around and is going for the kill here on the rear line. GG is called, and with that we have what, 2,000 points are reached as T-55 gets the 1-0 here in the first game. And yeah, the opener just already went completely down the drain, and from there to recover, it's just really hard to wait. So you really, like, I have played this matchup a lot of times from both sides back in the day when we had way fewer divisions, and yeah, it's one that you really have to get a feeling for. And 8th in general is a division that really is a bit harder than it looks. Like, it's I still believe it's a good beginner's division, but it is a good division. It's division because it shows you the limitations of a division like it. And not because it's just letting you roll over the enemies. If you want that, play second Panzer Grenadier. But yeah, 8 still has a lot of powerful things. Has a lot of fun tools, but good openers aren't one of them. And yeah, that got T55 here. W. Quick break, guys, and then we're going back with the second game in the series. And here we go with the second one. As T55 now is the player in blue, hanging around the 4th Division versus the 6 Moto strategy. And that one is a pretty solid one opener wise. Now for the 6, it has this Spetsgruppe, has mod of Claris and BMPs, and can come around with a couple of helicopters as well. Once more, the issue with the POP or FSP, forward supply point, coming around here. And on the other side, we have a good couple of infantry units here. Panzer Infantry, Nantres, and a couple of CVs here moving through the south as well. Meanwhile, in the north, M113s and Alouettes rolling into the battlefield as well. The recon and helicopters, that is a good thing. A lot of people have learned that thanks to Skific. Yeah, they can be quite good. Issues for new players, they're not quite as helpful because you still need to understand what you actually see with them. It's still good to see stuff, so it's not terrible. But you also have to start like using the one-time intelligence that you get out of them, and maybe try to calculate up a bit like how much of an investment the enemy actually made, like estimating like, okay, is that 500 points, is that one like and 1/3 of their units, is that 1000 points, and 2/3, and they're with that the majority of their forces and the other side might be weak, and so on. Like that's the kind of things that you're looking for when you're using these. And yeah, tactics is into helicopters. Mi-8s here will try to come around with the Luftsturmjägers. Hopefully, they will have a better time than their Delta predecessors in this matchup. As on the other side, in the south, we have M113s, we have a Canner AT in Alouettes moving around. The heavier tanks are on the side of the 4th with the strong Dutch Leo 2 A4s, but on the other side, we have pretty decent tanks nonetheless. T64s and T80s, T80Bs, to be specific. So still a decent choice of support here. Ooh, this is a really defensive positioning. This is not the position that you want to cover that early on. If you are worried that you get flanked, you might put something like a Fopo in there later. Or, but in the early game, all your forward deployment should use its forward deployment to actually get to spaces. And as the center line is obviously here, like you at least want to get here. Like playing defensively like this immediately puts another hand behind your back and sets you up for losses. Like even if you have memories of getting flanked, this is not how you treat this. Like this is first of all just playing being scared, and that's never a good thing. And second of all, it's also uh not really a valuable space here. Not really using the advantage of the forward deployment, and you always should use that with your recon to some extent. So that unit should move somewhere over here instead. And it are a couple of like really classic mistakes here out of Tactics Foxboy. Hopefully it doesn't feel like I'm just hitting on the guy. Those are mistakes that you can see in ranked play quite often. And the ideas here, they make sense. Like, if you don't know that this is just not efficient, it makes sense to bring up FSP. Like, if you believe that supply is a really counterpart, and a lot of people talk about how what supply is, but yeah, this is not the amount of supply that you need. Have fives here, two of them coming around. If you do a heli opener like that, you always need to have fighters. It's always in need of fighters because this is just too risky to just get gunned down by the F5s. The F5s at least haven't quite fully realized this yet. One of the guys here staying behind. The Luftsturmjägers actually are getting some places. Trying to get out there as the F5 is coming around again. Oh, but they're both above each other now. Okay. Staying alive for now. One of them making it out. The other one coming in for the Mi-8s in the north. At least the infantry over here got out as well. And yeah, Luftsturmjägers made it out. Special forces, good defense there. What else we have? Much to say. Coming around, the YPR autocannons, pretty powerful too. This guy should move over here to get the capture. Yeah, this is not where you want to be with your defense line. You still want to get into alpha. Even if you know you're on the weaker side of things in the south, you still want to go to alpha. This is way too defensive. Like, you always need to figure out where is the center line and play from there. And yeah, the F5s are not the best planes here at hunting things down. They were a bit more micro as well. MW13 being pushed back here. PG bomber. Got some damage in here. Luftsturmjägers under attack. Guys in the north needing some assists. Mi-8s being sold. Will enable some more investments here as the M113 is pushing forward by PR, rotating around the flank as well to get into a better position. By PR over here, around, attacking the Luftsturmjäger. Get some shots out. Bomber getting another hit. You have Crate AA S6, you have Book, you have the MiG-31s, but obviously they are relatively expensive. But yeah, the Luftsturmjägers without support. Infantry and Warno, like, in both of these games, it seems like also Tactics Foxboy wanted to play infantry and considered that to be just playing pure infantry for the most part, and that's just not how it works in Warno. Infantry can be pretty solid, and if you have it in the right spot, can do good damage with their AT weapons and with their HE output against other infantry as well, especially with special forces, but they still, to bridge open fields and so on, need fire support. Like, it's infantry and fire support behind it. Either in form of planes, in form of bombers, in form of artillery, or in form of IFVs and tanks. and or at least fire teams like grenade launcher teams that can help out and uh, give them the extra damage output and the extra stun power from behind, whilst they can soak up the damage and whilst they can maneuver into positions to outflank the enemy, get AT weapons on their vehicles, and so on. Like, WARNO is a combined arms game through and through. Even in a pure infantry deck, you can't just play infantry. And especially in a deck like 6, that is a moto division where you get decent amount of BMP1s, where you get a decent amount of solid tanks, and okay air tap as well, especially with the cluster bombers. You still want to use or still need to use that combined arms, and like the amount of infantry was a bit too high here. You can't really start with that many special forces infantry units in a matchup like this, plus all the recon and so on, and then also the FSP leaving lacking. So +4 here now is real. The siege in the north is real. T55 here really playing a solid opener with solid combined arms, and that is good enough here right now. Like, doesn't even really need better micro or anything. Like, the micro of Effective Fuckboy wasn't terrible. The reactions were there. Just if you set up yourself for failure with the deployment, like there's no real amount of micro that actually can save you. Like, the enemy is completely messing up. And yeah, T55 here is playing a solid game. So it's just keeping up the pressure, and then this likely will collapse. Or Boy is getting around here with a decent amount of forces. Like, yeah, CIS-2 guns, for example, like that's okay fire support against the enemy light vehicles, so that your infantry then can deal with the enemy infantry after these CIS-2s helped out against or so. Like, units like this in the early game would have been fine. I'm not the biggest fan of this gun, but it is actually an okay gun in this matchup against the YPRs. Can deal with them quite efficiently, and with a flank shot at least be somewhat dangerous to the enemy as well. But yeah, deploying this far back, deploying the FSP, and then going in with too much infantry, like all of those are relatively bad choices here. And from that big of a blunder in the opener, it's likely here not going to come back. 7 minutes in, the +4 is pretty real, and we might just see more. The India point is getting captured now, so it will go down to +2, but like the Charlie point likely is going to get sieged down here. You have the first couple of Leopard 1s. The forces here trying to get in for a defensive line. Going relatively out in the open. You don't want to do that either. Like, those weapon teams are usually only good from cover, where they also can move quickly to change the line of sight that the enemy can use against them. And break line of sight with that. Me too, Yearn. Moving around here. Good little helicopter for the opener. Can be counted as the fire support that you want here in the openers as well. Like, that could have shut down maybe some of the enemy recon units and so on. But it's not quite it either. F5s here. Bombing blind, the big mistake by T55. Doesn't really cost him anything here right now. But yeah, just bombing buildings blindly when you're not really quite certain that there's something inside. Not really something you want to do. And not really worthwhile. Usually you always want to bomb the unit that you see. Like, if you don't directly see that something is inside, but you see around it and you saw that something moved in earlier, that's fine. And if the enemy had an ATGM position that you know that they won't give up, that's fine as well. But this is not really the spot, especially if you have a recon here. You obviously usually should see the enemy if they are that close to you anyways. So yeah, that is a bit of a mistake there, but doesn't really matter. The AA setup is good, and the combined arms here, this is the combined arms that you want. Like, the infantry pushes and the autocannons, the IFVs assist from the rear, stunning down the enemy and allowing the infantry to move over the open field without being massacred. And yeah, that is how you want to do it. The Dutch infantry actually not the greatest, but decently cost efficient. With decent AT weapons in them as well. And now, after the infantry cleared the first line, now the IFVs can follow, set it up further. That F-16 bombing hit was pretty solid. And yep, I believe this one here is going to be over as well. Oh yeah, I have them wrong way around. That is true. But yeah, MiG-31 flying around here. Whilst the Stingers gets the shot out. Leo 1's moving around. Yeah, it's cool to see that we get new players. Like, this is what Division 4 is for. Uh, or at least was when created it. We might even have to consider maybe going up with Division 5, because Division 4 is getting too good for new players next season. Or maybe going up to 100 players. But yeah, have to see how we can get that up with signups and so on. But like, this is how we all started. Like, if you aren't quite familiar, like the basic RTS standards here from Tactics Rock Boy, they are there, and the combined arms ideas as well. It's just more that the specifics of, like, you are not allowed to give up space like this. In this, it's not that you defend your base, it's that you defend your zones that are supposed to be yours. In the early game, it's not a base building game where you defend your home base and where you can give up 70% of the map and be fine. It's a map a game where if you give up 55% of the map, you are pretty cursed. And like, usually it's all about the slim margin around the 50% mark. And like, maybe give up 60% in a really weak matchup. But like, all of those are things that you have to get used to, and that you don't really learn in 10v10, because 10v10 is just a mess as well. So you have to learn them the hard way, and that's currently what happens here for the player in red. The combine arms here worked out. Yeah, tanks pushes like this through the open don't work out. And like, when tanks work against you, it feels like they just roll into you and kill you. You often don't quite realize how much combined arms is around them and how much is enabling them. Like, and that's why a lot of people think like, oh yeah, just pushing some tanks in there will work. Nope, they won't. Tanks will usually just end up slaughtered if you don't have recon around them. You don't have some AA and some other units on the flank protecting them so that enemy infantry doesn't shoot them up. But quite often, a good couple of those units are not even visible to you. So it feels like the enemy is just clicking into you. That might give you the feeling that you can do the same. You cannot. You need better combined arms. Tanks are really, really bad without combined arms. They're really not cost efficient. Yeah, at this point, Mi-8's moving around. We have a decent amount of forces down here, but T-55 is realizing that as well and is moving units against it. And yeah, we see some shots here moving around against this. Yeah, pushing also is way harder, exactly, in WARNO than defending, so the opener is really, really important, and there is a lot of room for quick improvement here for Tactics Talk. But as I said, I don't believe like a lot of the other stuff here, like, they buy a decent combined arms, they buy like, they know the engagement ranges and all, they do set up decent forces here once things are going. They just need to fix the openers and a couple of classic early newer player 1v1 player flaws, and then they should be doing fine. So really excited to see where this will go for Tactics Rock Boy in the future. Hopefully we will see them in future tournaments. And yep, T-55 on the other hand here, looking really solid. Like, really, really clean game. Bit in bullying here now with the air spam. Even going after the Book. Tunguska coming up behind it. Book is not on an attack order. Oh no, you always should move your AA with attack orders. so that they engaged enemy planes coming into their range. The guy over here, yeah, this one is moving with attack order. So all of this, like the basics are there, just not used there. Oh no, no. Never. Okay, never use the cease order. Oh, that's something that I saw there as well. Like, rather use just an A click usually. Like the cease order doesn't really work in multiplayer. Can play in team games. It's not as good as it is in Steel Division because the engagement ranges are not as similar as in Steel Division. In Steel Division, the cease order actually does work quite okay. Like the smart orders in Steel Division actually work quite fine. In WARNO, cease just doesn't really work because the engagement ranges don't allow for it to work, and that's a big issue. So yeah, this is going to be it here. 1 minute 29. Good on Tactics Fuckboy to try to play it to the end here, try to figure out things. But as I said, like it's 95% in the openers here. Like these games were decided in the first couple of units deployed and moved. As coming back from that and from the first initial engagements going way lopsided against you is super tough even for the best players, and even harder if you are not quite optimal with your plays afterwards anyways. So yeah, this is a good learning experience here, hopefully for a lot of you as well. And it will be some points here for T55 on the way to the playoffs. The last couple of seconds here are ticking by, the push is coming in. What our players trying their best here to hold the line. Well, it's a couple more HE bombers coming in to drop bombs on the enemy. F5 bomber getting out of there. O2 moving around. MP1 getting a good shot. MP1 AR going down in the south. And yeah, there we go. Push coming in. GGVP. And we have a victory here for T55. And yeah, this is always looking brutal. Like when the opener goes this wrong, like it's also hard to come back, and especially in your first opener is like, yeah, as I said, we all had games like this. Like this is not a shameful display. This is what Division 4 is for, getting learning experiences and getting into the 1v1 area. And yeah, hope you learned something. I will talk to Tactics Fuckboy after this as well. Hopefully he will learn a bit out of this as well to get stronger and better in the next one. And yep, thanks for both players here to sign up. Looking forward for their run in the future. Thanks to all of you for watching and also for supporting the tournament here. We are over $300 in prize pool now. You can still use the Matcherino code to add more prize money to the prize pool for free by just going to the code there and clicking the claim code button, adding 25 cents. We have new codes. If you used the previous codes, you can do it again now. It's up once more here. A couple of you already did, so free money added to our community. Let's go. And yep, with that said, I'm going to end the stream here for today. My voice is starting to crack up. We will be back tomorrow with more WARNO action. So not going to be gone for long. And yeah, thanks all of you for your assistance and for your watching. And see you all in the next one.